And crime and violence must stop.
Welcome back again. I don't know. It is the morning insider. Yeah, bless upon yourself. Good day to everybody as it's match day. Yeah, match day for the Reggae Boyz. And I'm going to drop my preview around the game that set to play later. I think it's a big game, in many different ways as you can put it. The first game of the new year, of the new FIFA calendar. And it's 2025, next year is 2026, this is the first time, the team is catching up back after what happened last time out in St. Louis in Missouri. So a different type of a game. It's not that high profile game of what we played last time in November, but it's still a very important game. What so without a Gold Cup, without the Reggae Boyz? Do you understand? It's just over a decade. It's just a little bit under a decade and a half since, we failed to make it to a Gold Cup group stage. But nevertheless, this game today, we must go ahead and get this victory. But, welcome back to the boys in the camp. Everything look all right. The press conference, everything just seems all right. The players them seems happy. The video clips and everything that's rolling out of inside of the camp, everything seems positive. Even in the administration staff, everything just seems positive. Even that FIFA audit, so everything seems like it's a bright light around Reggae Boy football. But the boys must go on the pitch. Yeah, they must go on the pitch and get results. That's where things matter most. If you can get results on the pitch, then everyone else will smile. But guess what? It's St. Vincent is up on us later, and it's going to be a tough game. They will be highly motivated. Yeah, they will be highly motivated to play the Reggae Boyz. Look, we know when we talk about St. Vincent, since the build-up of this game, it's all about what they have done to El Salvador. It's all about what they have done in previous games. But those teams are not the Reggae Boyz. The El Salvador team is not the Reggae Boyz. Every team that in the Caribbean is highly motivated to beat the Reggae Boyz, pumped up to beat the Reggae Boyz, wanted to do really good versus the Reggae Boyz, so we're going to have to be on top of our game. Yes, we're going to have to be on top of our game. We'll have to come out and don't take things lightly. I'm going to go into, our last sets of fixtures that we play away in the Caribbean, and those fixtures are the Dominica game in the World Cup qualifier, the Grenada game in the Nations League of last 2023-2024 Nations League, and I think we played 80. So I think that was the last 3 away games that we played against Caribbean opposition team. Not going to go into the Gold Cup game that we played against Trinidad and St. Kitts, but the last 3 that we played, that's Dominica, Grenada, and also 80. You understand? But me personally, to be honest, what I really want to see, I'm looking for a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm looking for a lot of stuff. I would love to get the 3 points. That's the most important thing. But we have to, take this game as an advantage, as like, it's just another game. Yeah, just like how we will come out and play Mexico, Canada, US, Panama, El Salvador. But I want to see personality. Yeah, I want to see personality. I want to see character on the pitch. I want to see the work ethic. Let the muscle memory sink in that, look, even if it's St. Vincent, the same thing that we would have do against other top opposition team, we can do the same thing as well. Yeah, as I said, personality, character, the work ethic, believe in each other. Yeah, believe in each other. We need all of that. Look at the game that played last night, the US men's national team versus, the Panamanian. Yeah, look at how they work ethic of the Panamanian team. Look at how disciplined they were, in their shape, in their setup, and how they attack, how they defend, how they keep the football in the midfield. So we have to have a lot of character, a lot of personality. Show the St. Vincent team that, look, we are more of a mighty powerhouse team. Yeah, as I said, we have nothing to prove against Caribbean teams. It's all about what we need to do against Central American and North American team, the US, Mexico, the Costa Rica, the Panama. You understand? We are the giants. Yeah, we are the big figure. that big boy in the Caribbean. Yeah, so that's why they will come at us. But personality, character, work ethic, and belief in each other. And the last thing, I need to see leadership. Yes, I need to see leadership amongst the, you will say, the more experienced players, from Blake in the goal, the Pinnock in the back, the Isaac Aiden, the Bobby Reed, use up their experience, in this game, the likes of Leon Bailey. Show us what you made up of wearing that black, green, and gold. And also, look, tactically, I'm looking for the idea of what the coach want to play. Look, we have to start to bring these stuff out on the football pitch. It's coming to that time where we need to see the idea, we need to see the chemistry, we need to see intensity, we need to see pace, we need to see the midfield, the defensive line, the forward line. Everyone is working on the same page, closing down the football, have that understanding of know exactly what everybody needs to do. You understand? So tactically, want to see an idea, want to see, when I'm saying, philosophy, chemistry, I'm not talking about tiki-taka. What's best for this national team to go forward, and use that as our deadliest weapon in games. You understand? We want to have an idea, just the idea of what the team will look like, coming in the World Cup. And we need to see some of these in this game. If we can't sort out ourselves, which I think this national team is behind time, because and how we really do stuff, this national team, it's way behind. I know the top teams in this region do stuff, so I need to see a lot of that, that new not new idea, but just a philosophy of an understanding of how the coach really want the team to coordinate together on that football pitch. Creativity, we need to see crosses into the box. And even the last 3 games that we play away against Caribbean teams, Dominica, Haiti, and Grenada, we created 10 chances, big chances, and we scored 10 goals. What that tells you, they're clinical, but we need to create a little bit more. We need to start to let these things be that, look, it's just you would say, we need to make this thing just as it is the norm. This is just how we should build our squad. We need to build our squad and stuff like these, and set piece is another thing. I've seen pictures of Leon Bailey. Seems like he's kicking corner kick. His delivery, must be on point. it has to be better than what he have done in previous games. Set piece, crosses into the box. Big Bowser will be that number 9. Big Bowser will be that number 9 in that game later, and we need crosses in the box. When you look at the Reggae Boyz, I'm going to talk about some tactical stuff right now. And when I talk about the games that we played, look, I just said we scored 10 goals in the last 3 games away against Caribbean opposition team. We yet to keep a clean sheet. We conceded 5 goals. We beat Grenada 4-1 in that last game. In the Nations League, we beat 83-2. I think Dominica, we beat them 3-2 as well in the World Cup qualifier game. So we yet to keep a clean sheet in our last 3 away trips, against teams in the Caribbean. Look at it. Overall, when you look at even those 3 games, we have 1,184 passes in game, in those 3 games, and you will say, look, we average just around, over the 300 mark of, total pass in a game. That 80 game, we were not so dominant, on the stat sheet. They had more passes in the final third. They have more passes in their defensive third. They have more passes in the opposition half, which was the Reggae Boyz half. So we kind of outwork. They outwork us in that game, but we got that result. But teams in the Caribbean, again, I know Haiti is a different caliber team of St. Vincent. They are much better, but we need to show a more dominance about our gameplay. And I look at this, in the last 3 games against those teams, listen to this, in our own half, we had 39, listen to this, in their own half, we have 39% of the football, Yeah, we have 39% of the football in our own half. When you're talking about in the opposition half, we have 41% of the football more in that opposition half. And different from that, we control the game majority of the time in their half, but I want to see a little bit more the players be a little more ruthless. Yeah, the more you penetrate teams in their defensive third, it's the more they tend to get a little bit more tired as the game goes on. Their legs start to get a little bit weaker, and then the mistake will come. Yeah, let's build up a camp in the opposition in a defensive third where we just set up a camp, and that's where the football will play. And St. Vincent, that's how we need to play as well. Build a big camp in their half. Cannot let them lose. Cannot let them lose. So when I look at the games that we play, we are okay against Caribbean team, but I want to see more. I want to see more. And the starting lineup, I believe that we might see a Joel Latibody in that midfield with a Isaac Aiden. I believe, because with no more experienced player different from Bobby Reed, Isaac Aiden, I think Joel Latibody, as much as he named as a defender, he will play in that. I'll be shocked if I see Joel Latibody play in that defensive line, but I think he will be the partnership in the midfield with Isaac Aiden and Bobby Reed and Ethan Pinnock, and you will see more unlikely you will see Richard King get a start, a much deserved start, and Amari Bell on left, Lembe Kisa on the left, on the right I must say the Maragray down that left hand side, Bailey on the right. And Big Boza, as the most experienced number 9 that we have in this squad, will definitely get that start. But this St. Vincent team, they will oppose themselves a lot, especially in the first 15 minutes. They will make it a little bit feisty. They will make it a little bit competitive and how we're going to calm that game down and how we're going to hit the win out of them. They will depend on set piece, as set piece is a very, very big thing for them. Their players, again, they will pump up for this game, but just by knowing that the Reggae Boyz is on their home side, it's just enough to motivate this national team. So they will have a lot about them. They will have a lot of juice about them, in their legs in the first half, but and how we can, control the game, take the tempo away from them and start to dominate the game, put the game on how we want to play. You understand? They will back off, but I would just love to see how we're going to break down teams, especially a team that will sit back and defend in low block. How we going to break them down? How the likes of Leon Bailey, the likes of the Maragray, how they going to create the space on the flank, so the team can have a little bit of breathing room in that midfield. How they can drag players out, let players double team them 1v1 and know exactly what to do when they get double team. So it's all about workmanship. It's all about partnership between the players on the pitch. Ethan Pinnock, Richard King, partnership, break down the game. The two wing backs getting crosses into the box. The double pivot, work with each other. Have that understanding. It's all it's the fundamental stuff. It's easy. It's easy when you look at other teams around the region. This is how they play. The first 15 minutes. Just know that the first 15 minutes of the game, the first half of the game, we win that game. We make sure that we win the game in moments. Not just scoring, but control the game the first 15 minutes. Then what happened in the next 30, make sure that, look, the first 15 minutes, we control the game. The next 15 minutes, we know that, look, we want to create this amount of chance of the game, how we want it to be at this moment. So it's moments after moments, it's patches after patches, and of that, understanding of, look, this is what we're going to do, in the first half. This is what we're going to do in the second half. So we're going to have to treat this game, as like, it's a training game, but again, it's a competitive game. We don't want to take them light, Don't want to take them light, but we want to see a good game for the Reggae Boyz. Show the fans something and bring that game back home. Win this game easily 3-5-0. Keep a clean sheet. Give Andre Blake a clean sheet to go back home, and then let's have an exhibition game in front of our home, our home crowd. So McLaren can rotate the players a little bit, and give some players some minutes, and let's see what those players will be made up of, when they get that opportunity. But I just think that, that will lead starting out Blakey, Pinnock, the King partnership at the back, the two wing backs, Dexter, Amari Bell, Isaac Hayden, Joel Latibody as a double pivot, Bobby in the 10 position, Gray on the left, Bailey on the right, Bowser, I want to see goals from Bowser, as I think he's much fitter, he's much sharper, he's looking really good. Again, we haven't seen much of the Marigre because, the Saudi League is all the way over there, not so much highlighted, but we've seen what Leon Bailey can do. Yeah, we know what he brings to the table, but we need to see that as well in the black, green and gold colors. But everything set up for the Reggae Boyz to win this game, bring it to home back and qualify for the Gold Cup and then move on again. But the fundamental thing, the basic, we just need to see the basic of what a football team should look like, just like what we see with the Panama team. Yeah, look at what we saw against the Panama team last night. The same fundamental stuff, the basic, take the game easy as possible, do the simple things, make the simple pass, create the moments, do what you have to do, stick to the game plan, work for each other, and that's all I have to say. But the St. Vincent team, as I said, they will be relishing, and set piece will be vital for them. They have a midfield, I think his name is Shaquan Adams. He scored both goals in that El Salvador game. Is running off the ball from in the midfield area into the the defensive line of the opposition team. He's very good at that. They're good for scrappy players, ball into the box. They're going to be a physical team, so we're going to have to weigh ourselves in, but look, play to our strength. We want to see the team play with a lot of pace, a lot of energy. It's time and time we see this team that start to play slow build up, slow in the attacking third, slow in the midfield, as if like it's just a walking pace. Yeah, the more quicker you play, it's the harder the team to get back into their shape and start to close back down, because as soon as they start to close down, we'll fly past them. But the more you move slow, it's the easier it is to defend in our low block. But let's see what's going to happen. Use up the experience, use up the leadership, character, personality, show what you guys made up of, show why you are the kingpin for the Caribbean, the giant, the big team. But that's it for Nicardo Media House. I'm out. Salute. Best upon yourself, people. Later, big game, Reggae Boyz. I would say 4-0, the Reggae Boyz. That's my match prediction. Best upon yourself. I'm out.